Chief Lyons.
Mayor and Council, we have Officer Joby Drefts, Officer Jessica Moore, and Officer Scott Giles are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to have a moment of silence for the violence that's occurred in Dallas and Baton Rouge, where officers have been killed in the line of duty.
Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
That is correct.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Mr. Hoynes, Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I really do struggle at this point in every meeting because we have so much going on, and I try to hit the highlights not only in my written report, hopefully you find that useful, but just the high-level ongoing things. I think Ms. Myers and I were talking a couple of weeks ago that at one point we were a little long in the tooth, and we've both been in government a long time. That used to be a slow time in city government, not in Papillion. I think we have 19 pending plats and planning right now, and working on the budget and some multiple things. So if at any point I would just stress that if you have a question from me or any one of these other folks sitting around this table, let's do our best to get you the information, but you will never offend us by calling and asking. So with that, a couple months ago, actually, Mr. Mayor and Council, we heard a memorandum of understanding and discussion on the Peconi property that was impacted by the annexation of Prairie Queen. Created a very unique circumstance where they couldn't create an SID. Eventually approved a memorandum of understanding. I bring that up today is we're in the final stages of bringing that plat back to you along with the memorandum of understanding that resolved those issues, and I think it was negotiated in good faith. I believe the Peconis were going to close on the sale of their property, not only to Thrasher but to the NRD. I think they already have NRD. Thrasher, I think, was scheduled for today. There's some remnants, and there's always some leftover work to do. At the end of the day, I think that's going to be a $30 million development in a very nice area, and I think everybody was treated very fairly in that. Also, meetings in the lot just this week, actually, with Sarpy County, many ongoing projects with those folks. Primarily, the two important ones are the southern sewer project, the $220+ million project. That continues ever so painfully slowly to inch forward with multiple jurisdictions involved. I think the positive thing there is the multiple jurisdictions all have the same common goal and want to get the right thing done, so we'll continue to grind that out and get the best public policy to all of you so we can address those sewer needs in southern Sarpy County. Also today met with the representatives of Emmanuel to discuss how our planning for the future community center is going to impact them from an infrastructure. They have some thoughts on developing, and Mr. Sturzman has met with the church, and we continue to coordinate. I was in a meeting, I think 2 weeks ago, with Lori and our internal planning team, Jay Palau, and they threw a project plan board up, and I counted, I think there was 70+ different items that are ongoing on that project, from meeting with people that may be impacted, Pro and everybody else, to the things we have to research, and so it's really very complex. Finally, conclude my report, Mr. Mayor, that I did send electronic copies to council members of the mayor's proposed budget. I think I've had telephone discussions with most of you at various times over that, so this is the real time. As you review that, you see that, you have some input on that. Certainly give the mayor a call, and we will try and accommodate that. Again, the timing is introduced at the August 2 meeting, public hearing at August 16, and then actually a 3-week gap in between the August 16 meeting, I think early September, for the third and final, and we have to submit that to the state by then. So that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next is the consent agenda. We had one published item, item C6, where the applicant has asked that the item actually be withdrawn from the agenda, but since we did publish it, we need to amend the agenda. So is there a motion to withdraw item C6, resolution R160100 from the agenda? Motion by Councilman Stubbe. Second by Councilman Gaines. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion approved. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda that was amended? Motion by Councilman Ingberg. Second by Councilman Stubbe. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Consent agenda items happen fast. One of those was some liquor license applications. I do just want to recognize the applicant and the representatives of the American Legion were here to answer any questions, but there weren't any, so thank you very much. Item D1, Ordinance 1746, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of tax-supported recreational facility bonds of the City of Papillion, Nebraska, Series 2016, in the principal amount of not to exceed $5,080,000 for the purpose of paying the costs of constructing, acquiring, improving, furnishing, and equipping a community center and related improvements in recreational and parks facilities and related improvements, prescribing the form of said bonds, pledging funds to be received by a sales and use tax and other sources of funds for the payment of said bonds, providing for the levy and collection of said taxes to pay the same, providing for the sale of the bonds, authorizing the delivery of the bonds to the purchaser, providing for the disposition of bond proceeds, and ordering the ordinance published in a pamphlet form. Is there a council member that will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Gaines. There is a staff request, which is typical on all bond issuances, to waive the second and third readings. Just for the public, the reason we do that is so we can get to market with the bonds and take advantage of the low interest rates. Waiver of second and third does require a supermajority. We got 2 council members missing, so it means it's got to be unanimous tonight to do that. But is there a motion to waive the second and third readings for Ordinance 1746? Motion by Councilman Ingberg. Second by Councilman Stubbe. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion for waiver is approved. Do we have a motion to approve Ordinance 1746? Motion by Councilman Stubbe. Second by Councilman Florence. Any proponents? Do we have any opponents? And bond counsel is here. Any council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
We look forward to you getting very low interest rates. Thank you. Item F1, Resolution R160082, a resolution to approve an amendment to the interlocal agreement with Sarpy County and the Sanitary Improvement District 301, Southbrook, for the Schramm Road improvements from Turkey Road to west of 108th Street. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R160082? Motion by Councilman Stubbe. Second by Councilman Gaines. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item F2, Resolution R160083, a resolution to approve right-of-way and easement acquisitions for Schramm Road from 111th Street to Turkey Road, tracks 1, 2, 4, and 5. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R160083? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Florence. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Related item, F3, Resolution R160084. A resolution to approve the contract for Schramm Road improvements from 111th Street to Turkey Road to Charles Verana and Son Construction Company of Omaha, Nebraska, in the amount of $1,660,722. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R160084? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Stube. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Council discussion, Mr. Stube.
Yeah, just a question with regard to what's the planned schedule, start date, ending date?
Mr. Thompson.
We have talked briefly with Verana, given the fact that we're closing Schramm Road next week between Sunburst Drive and 96th Street to punch through that Walnut Creek Trail. We're proposing to start the construction for the box culvert and some of the other related work for this project sometime in the fall. We don't have a definitive date yet, but we want to get Schramm open back up to service those neighborhoods before we close it down east of 108th Street.
Any other discussion? Please vote.
Zero nays.
Motion passes. F4, Resolution R160089, a resolution to approve a real estate purchase agreement for the purchase of Lot 71, Villas at Creekside, generally located on the east side of Halleck Park, Papillion, from American National Bank for the development of public ball fields and park grounds. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R160089? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Gaines. Do you have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Council discussion? Mr. Mumgard.
Yeah, I just want to bring the rest of the council up into a discussion that I've had with the city administration about this land. And as I understand it, and as the resolution says, this is a purchase of this land that has long been contemplated and is going to become part of our parkland. And at least for the near future, it will be used for some fields of some sort, soccer or something else. The discussions I've had with the city administration is that at some point I hope that we have some sort of a street connection on the east end of Halleck Park to 72nd Street. And I would prefer it to be as close to 72nd Street as possible so that we could have an actual impressive sign of some sort of an entrance to Halleck Park that announces that this is one of the main parks of the city of Papillion. That to accomplish that purpose, it would have to be someplace close enough to 72nd Street so you could see it from 72nd Street. Because, of course, the entrance from Halleck Park from the west, there's a couple of very good entrances, but there's nothing that announces this is Halleck Park, other than some small signage. And I understand why that is, but it's my hope that that at some point in the future, either this land or something near to this land is used to create some sort of an entrance, eastern entrance to Halleck Park. It's something that has been raised in discussions in the past, in years past. I don't want the idea to die, and this is a good time to just publicly talk about it. So I bring it up, and I'm certainly in favor of purchasing this. This is a good step in the right direction. But I think as time goes on, we need to continue that kind of a discussion to have that east entrance to Halleck Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other discussion? Please vote.
Zero nays.
Motion passes. Item F5, Resolution R160095, a resolution to approve the final plat for the property legally described as Lot 1, Barrington Place 3, Replat 3, generally located on the southeast corner of 90th Street and Highway 370. The applicant is REJ Engineering, Inc., and this is Barrington Place 3, Replat 5. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R160095? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Florence. Do we have any proponents? The applicant is here. Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote. Mr. Ingberg.
Zero nays.
Motion passes. That is all the regular agenda items. We do have committee reports, and a couple of committees did meet. Public Works Committee met tonight. Mr. Ingberg?
The committee met with the design people and the city engineer and Mark Sturzman to review some proposals for improvements to Lincoln Road in conjunction with our projects, obviously, for the community center. We provided direction to the designers, some preferences we had after looking at the proposals, and they'll be coming back before the full council for consideration and feedback and input. So that was all we really did in our meeting tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And the Audit Ad Hoc Committee met. I understand Mr. Florence is the chair.
We did. So the Audit Committee recommends the acceptance of the engagement letter for an audit of the City of Papillion from HSMC Horizon, a company we've used in the past. And then we also discussed the hiring of a consultant to evaluate internal processes and controls for those city entities outside of this building.
Thank you very much. I don't think any other committees have met. Do we have any comments from the floor?
Excuse me, Mayor, could I
Yes,
ask
sir.
a question of the Public Works Committee?
Yes.
Okay, the discussion you've had tonight, I see there's a meeting with the public on August 3rd about the Lincoln Road construction. That's the discussion you are having tonight, is that correct?
Mr. Mungard, can you turn yours off?
Basically, we had the same discussion that they'll have on the 3rd of August with this open to the public discussion. We just provided some input about what we thought might be beneficial and what might work best. But obviously, the community is going to have input, and what we did tonight is certainly not set in stone. We can't take any action, of course, but we did provide our opinion about different proposals they presented to us, and that was the extent of it.
Okay, then I guess just to clarify in my mind, so your suggestions are being taken back by the architect, the planners, and then they're going to be incorporated into the information that is presented to the public on August 3rd, and then it comes back to the council at some point after that?
That's correct, Councilman Mumgarden. I would just add that as soon as we incorporate, this is a concept, and that's why I wanted to go to committee first. Once I'm able to work with the city engineer to incorporate whatever input the committee had discussed, we'll make those revisions, and then I'm going to send it to the entire council even prior to the meeting so that you can review that and have some time to either attend or comment. So I'm trying to create a level playing field and still do committee work here, but within the next few days you'll have a copy of what they looked at, and I think you got a copy of the packet last Friday anyway too, so it doesn't preclude your input because you're not on the committee. That's the point I'm trying to make.
No, and I certainly don't have any criticism of what's happened so far. I just want to make sure that the public is aware that they are going to get some input, particularly the people along Lincoln Road that got notices. And
we sent out notifications to every one of those. I think it was within 300 feet. 150? About 150 notifications went out to the directly affected.
I intend to try to attend that meeting, so I look forward to seeing the good work of the Public Works Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the floor? Any other council comments? Just two quick things from the last couple of weeks. Ms. Myers, Mr. Sturzman, and I had a meeting with Black Hills Energy about some common economic development ideas that we have. We've got some common interests in seeing some development, and we had a very good cooperative meeting. They're a great partner. And then Tactical 88 had their ribbon cutting. That's the big white building with the tower at 370 and I-80. Pretty impressive facility. If you haven't been out there, maybe go get a tour of that. We do have a closed session tonight. Is there a motion to go into closed session to protect the public interest to discuss potential litigation pertaining to annexation? Motion by Councilman Gaines. Second by Councilman Ingberg. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
I will restate for the record, the purpose of the closed session is only to discuss potential litigation pertaining to annexation. The closed session will include the mayor, the city council, city administrator, assistant city administrator, city attorney, and city clerk.